We are now beginning Excel Chapter 2, the second video. So open your Excel spreadsheet titled Formulas and Functions. Open your text to page 89, and we will complete pages 89 to 119. One way that you can open your Excel spreadsheet is by clicking Start. And if you've used Microsoft Excel recently, it should be on this menu, and then you can look over here and it'll give you the recent worksheets that you've used. So the one that we need to open is the formulas and functions. So I'm just going to click that. On page 89, we're starting at the very bottom where it says formatting the worksheet. Now, although the worksheet contains the appropriate data, the formulas, and the text and the numbers, we need to improve their appearance and readability. Go ahead and turn to page 91. Let's go back to our formula. Well, you're already there, your worksheet. Number 1 on page 91 says to display the Layout tab. Display the Page Layout tab. Click the Themes button and point to several themes in the gallery to see a live preview. So when I hover over Aspect, my numbers look wider, rounder. The angles, Austin, Composite, Concourse, Grid. Now turn to page 92. 92, number 2 says to click Basis. Again, you can choose whatever you would like, whatever you think looks best. I think I'll go with Composite. At the bottom of page 92, number 1, display the Home tab. Number 2, select the range to be merged. And we are going to select A1 to J1. Then click the Merge and Center button. Number 3, select the range A2 to J2. And again, click on Merge and Center. Now we're going to select the range that contains the title cell style. So in this case, we're going to click on A1 and A2 and release. Now click the Cell Styles button, which is located on the Home tab over to the right. And it asks us to select the title cell style. So there's the title cell style. So click on that. Number 5, select cell A2 and then click the Decrease Font Size button. And that is located on your Home tab. And it's the A, capital A, that's smaller and next to the other capital A. So just click that. Every time you click it, it decreases the font size by 2. So it was at 18. And we should have just clicked it to 16 is what the book asks us to do. But 14 is okay too. Okay, turn to page 93. And now we're going to talk a little bit about colors and the use of color. Which colors should you select when formatting your worksheet? Knowing how people perceive colors helps you emphasize parts of your worksheet. And here's a picture of a color wheel with tertiary, primary, and secondary colors, which you probably already learned about in art class. Warmer colors like red and orange tend to reach toward the reader. Cooler colors, blue, green, and violet, tend to pull away from the reader. Bright colors jump out of a dark background and are easiest to see. White or yellow text on a dark blue, green, black, or purple background is ideal. Using the primary colors red and blue together is not recommended. It is extremely difficult to read and can be frustrating. Even if the colors of the text and background are switched. Ouch! Okay, let's go to page 93 in our text. Number 1 at the bottom says, select the range A1 and A2, and then tap or click the fill color arrow, which is located on the Home tab towards the left. Point to a number of colors in the fill color gallery to display a live preview of the color. And I can only see part of it, but I can see enough that I can make a decision on which color I think looks best. I think I'm going to go with lavender, but you can choose what color you would like. And turn to page 94. Well, the book says to click a green, but you can click, again, the color you like. Number 3, click the borders arrow. And again, this is on the Home tab in your font group. This is your borders. Number 4 says to click thick box border. So let's find thick box border. And we're going to click that, and it's going to put a thick box border around A1 and A2, our title and subtitle. Now turn to page 95. We are going to apply a cell style to the column headings and format the total rows. Number 1, select the range to be formatted. In this case, it is cells A3 to J3. Number 2, use the Cell Styles Gallery to apply the Heading 3 cell title. So again, our Cell Styles is at the top right, and it asks us to use the Heading 3. So click on that, Heading 3. Number 3 on page 95, click the Center button. Number 4, apply the total cell style to the range A13 to J13. So let's find A13 and go all the way over to J13. And again, our cell styles are here. It asks us to put the total cell style. And notice how it has the double underline underneath. Or, well, it did. Anyway, let's keep going. Number 5, bold the range A14 to A16. So let's find A14 to A16, which is our highest, lowest, and average. And our bold is right here. Now turn to page 96. Number one, and what we're going to do now is we're going to format dates and we're going to center the data in cells. So number one, select the range to contain the new date format, which right now our date format is a number for the month, a number for the day, and then the numbers for the year. So we want to select J4 to J12, J4 to J12. Now click the Format Cells Number Format dialog box launcher. And to do that, you need to make sure you're on the Home tab, which I'm sure you are, and go to the Number group and click on this in the bottom corner, right corner, to open up the dialog box launcher. So now we have our dialog box. Let's click the Number tab, which I think is the default tab that comes up. Now we're going to click Date in the category list. So this is the category list. We find dates. Then in the type list, we need to click 314 and then just a 2-digit year. 314, and on here it says 01. So that's the type that the book asks us to select. Okay, number 2 on page 96 says to click the OK button. And now you see that all of our years now are just 2-digit years instead of the 4-digit. Number 3, select the range B4 to B16. And that's the column that holds our dependents. B4 to all the way to 16. Okay. I guess it includes the highest, lowest, and average of our dependents. Now we're going to click the center button for our alignment. It does look better. And let's click Save before we move on to page 97. And on page 97, it says formatting our numbers using the ribbon. We're going to apply an accounting number format and a comma style format using our ribbon across the top. So number 1, select the range to contain the accounting number format. And this is cells D4 to G4. So start at D4 and go to G4. Now hold your Control key on your keyboard. Select cell I4, which is under net pay. Now we need to also keep that finger on your keyboard, the range E13 to I13, and release your mouse, but keep your finger on the keyboard. And now you can release your finger on the keyboard. Now we're going to click the accounting number format button, which is at the top of your screen in the number group. Right now it should say general. And we're going to change that to the accounting number format. So once you find that, click that and see what happens to the data you just selected. It's added a $sign and commas. And let's keep going on page 97 at the bottom. Number 2 says to select the ranges to contain the comma style format. So we need to select cells D5 to G12. D5 to G12. Now let's hold our finger on our keyboard again and hold the Control key. And now we're also going to select I5 to I12. I5 down to I12. Release your finger from the keyboard And at the top, let's click on the comma style. So you could drop this menu down and find the comma style. Oop, nope. We'll just use our shortcut right there, comma style. Click on that, and what you'll see when you do is that the numbers will add the comma to anything over 1,000. Click that, and you also see that Excel has rounded up the cents, or down, rounded up or down. So let's keep going to page 98. Number 3 on page 98 says to select the range to contain the comma style format, which in this case is C4 to C16. So click C4 to C16, and now click the comma style button. So click comma, it didn't add any commas, but that's okay. Let's keep going. At the bottom of page 98, the book is now going to teach us how to apply a currency style format with a floating $sign using the Format Cells dialog box. Number 1, select the ranges D14 to G16, and also select the ranges, so I'm going to hold the control key down on my keyboard, I14 to I16. Oops, I think I did that. I think I selected the wrong ones. Hold on, let me fix it. Okay, I'm going to do that over. D14 to G16. Okay, and then I14 to I16. So we don't want column H. Now we're going to click the number format dialog box launcher, and if necessary, tap or click the number tab. Now click currency in the category list, and click the third style, which is in parentheses $1,234.10 in the negative numbers list. So let's do the third one. There's the first one, second one, here's the third one. And turn to page 99. On the top of page 99, it tells us to click OK. And when we do, we notice that we have $signs in front. Apparently those are the floating $signs. Number 1 at the bottom of page 99. We're going to apply a percent style format and use the increase decimal button. Select the range to format, which is cells H4 to H16. So find H4 and go down until we stop at H16. Click the percent style button, and you can see that the percent style was added. Now we have the numbers and the percentage, and it is also a rounded whole percent. At the bottom of page 99, number 2, click the increase decimal button. It's on the home tab in the number group. We're going to click it 2 times. So let's click this button to increase. Oh, I better select. There, okay. And it says increase decimal. Show more precise values by showing more decimal places. So let's increase it by 2. So click 1, 2, and now our tax is shown um, with a more precise value. Let's click Save. And you don't have to click Save whenever you can click Save a lot more than just when I say. Okay, so let's go to page 100. We've started formatting our worksheet, and now we're going to do some conditional formatting. Conditional formatting is the next step, and that is to emphasize the values that are greater than 70 in column C by formatting them to appear with an orange, or your choice, background and white, or your choice, font color. Page 100, number 1, select the range C4 to C12, C4 to C12. We're going to click the Conditional Formatting button, which is on the Home tab in our Styles group, and we are going to click on Conditional Formatting. Number 2 says to click New Rule. So go down and find where it says New Rule and click on that. A pop-up box appears, dialog box. We're going to click Format Only Cells That Contain. So find that at the top. That's the rule we're going to say. Format only cells that contain. And now we're going to tell Excel what that is. So we're still on page 100, near the bottom. It says in the Edit the Rule Description area, edit the rule description area, we're going to click the arrow in the relational operator box, which is the second box. And select greater than. Now, the last bullet on page 2 says to select the rightmost box. And in here, we're going to type the number 70. So our rule is any cell that is greater than the number 70. So if you could look over here and see, if you can't, just put your mouse at the top of this box, click down and hold it, and then you can move your box over so that you can see. So any cell that is greater than 70 is going to change. We're going to format it in a different way. So this, don't click over here, but this one, the 81.5, is greater than 70. So this one will change. The 71.25 will change. The 80 will change. Will the 70 change? Because we want things, we want to format those that are greater than 70, but this one is 70, so it's not greater than. Okay, and we didn't say greater than or equal to. We just said greater than. Okay, now in your book, turn to page 101. Number 3 at the top says to click the Format button. So let's do that now. Click Format. And then click the Font tab if necessary. Click the color arrow. This is the color arrow. And then click white background 1, column 1, row 1. So white. And I know that it's white because of the orange around it. I want that one. Why isn't it that one? Okay, my computer's being slow. Now number 4, click the Fill tab which is at the top of your dialog box. And then click the orange color or whatever color you would like. Since I used a lavender for my heading and subheading, I'm going to go with another lavender color just so that it'll look smooth. And there's a sample of it. If I don't like that color, I can choose a different one. You can do, maybe I want to make it lighter, and that would be the new color, or make it darker. But I kind of think I like the color it is, so I'm going to cancel that. And turn to page 102 in your book. Once you find the color that you are comfortable with, click OK to close that box. And now we are going to, it gives you a preview, so if you can't read it, say you picked a purple color for the text and for the background, they will probably blend together. Surely you didn't pick a red and a blue. But anyways, if you're happy with what you see here in the preview, click OK to close that box. Now turn to page 103. On page 103, it talks about conditional formatting operators. And we are going to talk about changing column width and row height. And just real quick, on our spreadsheet, you can see that this is very obvious that these are higher than 70, and it did not select the 70. Okay. So PowerPoint slides 25 and 26. Let's talk about the column width and the row height. The default width of an Excel column is 8.43 characters or 64 pixels. This number may change depending on the theme you have selected. A character is defined as a letter, a number, a symbol, or punctuation mark. Another measure of height and width of a cell is called pixels. So let's talk about pixels for just a second. Your column width and row height continued. Pixel, which is short for picture element. A dot on the screen that contains a color. The size of the dot is based on your screen's resolution. At a resolution set at 1366 by 768, the 1366 pixels appear across your screen, left to right, and the 768 pixels appear down the screen. And if you times those together, you end up with 1,049,088 pixels on your screen. And they're so tiny, aren't they? You can't see them. Well, when they all come together, these pixels form the images that you see. So these are low resolution, so you can see every single pixel. And this one's pretty cool because it's moving and changing colors. All right. Let's go back to our worksheet. And on page 104 in your textbook, we are going to drag through column headings A and B above row 1 to select the columns. So to do that, let's take our mouse, and we want it to turn into a dark black arrow pointing down. When we get to that, where it looks like this, you want to click and hold because we want to select column A, and drag it over to B because we want both of those columns. We can't read what's in column A, and we want to fix that. But we're also going to format column B as well. Now click or point to the boundary on the right side of column heading B. So the boundary between column B and C is that tiny little gray line. We want we want our mouse pointer to change until it has the double-headed arrow pointing left and right. Once you get that, double-click the right boundary of column heading B to change the width of the selected columns to the best fit. So just double-click, and it gave us the best fit for both of those columns. Now, point to the right boundary of column G above row 1. So make sure your mouse turns into that thick black down pointing arrow and select G. And actually, you don't even have to do that. You can just double click to the right of G, or if you click and hold, you will see that the width of this is 8.57, which is 65 pixels. So we want to make it 87 pixels. So click on that and drag it to the right until at the very top you see where it says 87, and then the width would be 11.71. And release. And turn to page 105. Now we're going to click the column C heading and hold your control key down on your keyboard. And now click the column D heading and the column H heading and release the control key off of your keyboard. Now we are going to point to the right side, the boundary on the right side of column H, and click on it and hold it down. And it says that our width is 8.57 with 65 pixels. The book asks us to change it to, I think this is wrong in the book, but it says to change it to 7.5. So let's just go in to 7.5 or somewhere close, like 7.57. Okay. So that kind of squishes that in, but there's still enough room that we can see all of the data. Number 4 on page 105 says to release the mouse. Okay, we did. Then it says to click the column E heading and drag to select the column F heading. So select E and then just pull over to F and release your mouse. Now hold the control key on your keyboard and click column I to select that, release the mouse. Release the mouse and your keyboard. Now we're going to drag the right boundary of column F until our width is 10.5 or 89 pixels, or close enough, right? So it's 10.3, 89 pixels. Well, this depends too on what, so that'd be a width of 12, and that's fine. So it just depends on what theme you selected. Okay, so just make a visual, make sure yours looks good, that we can see all of the numbers. Okay, so let's keep going. Page 106, we're going to change the row height. So we've been working with the columns, now we need to talk about the rows. So point to the boundary between row heading 3 until the pointer displays the split double arrow. Row heading 3. And below that, so that's row 3, and then pull your mouse down slowly till it changes to a split double arrow that goes up and down. We're going to click it and hold it and drag it down until the screen tip indicates the height of 48 and 64 pixels, or close enough. So if we do 64 pixels, it won't let me go to 60. There, it did. Hopefully yours will too. And again, it's just because of what theme you selected. So release your mouse and it will widen the row for you. Number 2 says to release the mouse, which I just said, and point to the boundary below row heading 14. So let's find number 14. 15, and let's go below it until our pointer changes to the split double arrow pointing up and down. Now we're going to drag downward until the screen tip indicates approximately 36 pixels. So right now it's at 21. It's asking us to go to 36. Let's turn to page 107 in your textbook. Alright, 107 says to release the mouse, and then click anywhere in the worksheet to deselect that. So just wherever you would like. And now click Save. We need to talk about the spell checker, and I think that we are going to do that in the next video. So make sure you did click Save again, and that is it for video 2, and I'll see you back for video 3.